Welcome back to another day in the life of a window cleaner. It's a Monday morning, it's chilly, it's 5 degrees and a little bit of a wind which is making it feel extra cold. But yeah, I've got a few jobs to get done today, so I'm just at my first job this morning. It's a gutter and fascia clean for the property management company that I work for. I came here about a month ago, I think it was, and cleaned out the gutters for them. And they didn't really need that much doing to them, but while I was here, the lady asked me was I going to be cleaning all the fascias and that, and the cladding at the front is looking very green, and I obviously said I wasn't going to be doing that this time, but I took a picture and sent an email to them. They got hold of the landlord, who came back and said, yep, go ahead and do it. So I'm here to do that today. When I've done that, I'm going off to do a first clean of a new customer that's joined the round. And then after that, I'm going to go and do 2 regular window cleans, but the second one is got to be doing their conservatory roof. It's like a small little conservatory roof on a flat roof, and it hasn't been cleaned for a couple of years because last year they had a problem with the roof leaking, so I didn't go up there. They just said leave it. So it's been a couple of years and it's looking very green as well. So got quite a bit to do today, quite a bit of cleaning to get done, and they're pretty mucky, some of the jobs. But yeah, follow along, see how we get on. I've been getting a problem with my battery going flat quite a lot lately, over the last few months. Yeah, the battery in the van's been draining, I didn't know why, and then the system battery was not being able to handle the power hose reel as well, and the pumps were shutting off because the battery wasn't charging properly. So it turns out the company that installed the system in my van didn't fit the right split charge. It needed to be a DC to DC charger, not a voltage sensitive relay. That's for an older van because my van has a smart alternator on it. So yeah, it turns out they fitted the wrong one, and it was draining the van battery, and I was getting stuck at people's houses with a flat battery. So yeah, I'm having to get all the wiring changed. So I'm just going to show you now some clips that I took last week, just before I got it rewired by a friend of mine, and then I will show you the finished job and what it's like now. And I'm going to show you now, I've just undone the bolts to take this cover off. Behind this cover you have 2 pumps and you have the battery, and I'm going to show you what supposedly a professional company that installed this left my wiring like, and you will be shocked. So here goes. This is what they think is acceptable wiring onto a battery, and I don't know if you can see it here. That's pump 1, that's pump 2. Pump 2 is a different way up to pump 1. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I am actually going to turn it around. They put a battery in here which is 75 amp hours, which is not man enough to power the hose reel and the pumps. Imagine if you had 2 electric hose reels going on that would drain that so quick. So that is all getting changed tomorrow. That battery's getting taken out, and a friend of mine's doing it. I'm not going to be able to film it, but he's going to be sorting that all out for me. And these bolts that they put in, they're going all rusty as well, so they're going to be changed for stainless bolts. It's going to make that look a whole lot better. What we've got under the seat here is the 110 leisure battery, and all the wire. This is just the handle for the battery, the fuse, and for the power up reel. And then this side here is the split charge. As you can see, there's a couple of lights on because it's doing what it needs to do at the moment. And yeah, and then all the wiring is hidden underneath the floor, and it goes back through here and back into behind the cover. So yeah, brilliant, neat job that he's done. Right, so I'm going to be using the Gardiner's backpack again, the one that I use for spraying chemicals up. I've already got some mixed in. Today I'm going to be using the Ubix 2000. I'm just going to use that because last week I did a cladding clean and I've already got some mixed up in here, and it did a really good job on cleaning up the cladding. So I'm just going to use that to start with on the front cladding and the gutters, and then when it runs out, and then I'll mix up my usual TFR that I use from gutter vacuum systems. I'm going to be doing that cladding clean at the top with this brush from Gardiner's Pole Systems. It's 26cm, it's flocked and it's got some fan jets on it, so I'll be using that to do the cladding. And then to clean up the gutters, I'll be using this brush here, which is also from Gardiner Pole Systems. It also has fan jets, but it's a Sill brush, so it's a better shape for cleaning up the gutters. Then finally, I'm going to have to give the windows a bit of a clean because I'm using a chemical, so I will be using my usual Xline brush to give the windows a clean. And all those brushes are going to be fitted onto my 25-foot Ova8 pole. Okay, so I've sprayed up the chemical, scrubbed it a bit. I'm just going to leave it to sit for 5 minutes or so, and then I'm going to give it a bit of a rinse off. I don't think you can see very well. It has started to come off, so it should clean up really well. So that's cleaned up pretty well actually. There is, you can see just in here, there's a bit of staining. Unfortunately you can't get that off. It's just been dirty for so long. So now I'm going to swap over to the other brush and do the gutters each side, give the windows a clean, and then I've got to do the back. Okay, so the front is all done. That took me about 40 minutes to do that. I'll just show you it. Looking much better. So that was the cladding cleaned, the gutters and fascias, and the windows are quick cleaned down. Just got to go around the back now. It's absolutely freezing today. My hands are like blocks of ice even though I have my gloves on. Sometimes just wearing gloves doesn't really actually warm your hands up. So yeah, I've got to go around the back now. Hopefully she's left the access open for me and I'll get that done. It's just the fascias and the gutters around the back and the windows. I'm going to have a little coffee when I get round there. Right, so that's the first job done. I'm not far from home now, so I'm just going to head home. I'm going to grab my phone charger because I'm filming on my phone and I know it's going to go flat by the end of the day. Go and use the toilet and then head off to my second job. I was really impressed with the Ubix 2000. I only really use it on dirty first cleans for windows. I did a really dirty first clean a while back. I'll put some pictures up of it now. Used Ubix 2000 and it got it off so good, and the windows came out lovely. So yeah, I used it last week on a little bit of cladding. I also put some pictures up of that, and I thought I'd just try it again today. Okay, so I'm at the first clean. They are quite grubby in places, so I don't really like using my best brush to do a first clean. So I'm going to use this brush which came with the Ova8, but it's a wider version. I'm going to give that a go. It's got 4 pencil jets. I'll probably give them a once over with that, and then I may grab my Xline brush and just give them a good rinse off with that, because I know that gives a decent rinse. That's the first clean finished. There's a particularly tricky window above the conservatory there. The rest of it was pretty basic. It's a bit of a mix of new windows and old windows. So these old ones here, you can see there's some black where the rubbers bleed. Can't do much about that. You can put chemical on it, but it just tends to make it worse, I've discovered. So a couple of windows on the side there, they were brand new, and some windows here. This is going to be a regular clean every 2 months, I believe, and this lady here found me through my website on Google. I changed my website back in December time, I think it was, and since then I've been appearing pretty high in the Google searches, on the first page for most of my services, and even number 1 sometimes. So I've been getting quite a few leads from just people searching on Google, and this lady obviously found me, filled out a contact form on my website, booked a regular clean. She's also asked me if I could clean out the gutters, but I said I will check them this time. I haven't got time to do them today, and I will send her a price. I may be back in a couple of weeks' time to do the gutters. They're quite easy, I would think. They're just first story. The only tricky one is one that goes right over the top of the conservatory, so I'm just going to get my camera out and check that now. So I use this action camera, and it's got this little clamp. I can put that on my water fed pole to have a look into the gutters. So I've got one job left to do now. It's quite a big house with a conservatory. I'm going to be doing the roof on that. It's like a skylight roof lantern sort of roof, but quite big. yeah, I'm out in a lovely location now, so I've got my favourite spot to stop for lunch. Just have my packed lunch now, then head down to the next house. So the area I'm in now is quite an affluent area. Both houses, the one I've just done and the one I'm going to, are actually both up for sale for over £1 million each. So that's the sort of size house you're dealing with and the sort of area. So yeah, I'm going to give that a bit of a clean up. What I'll probably do first is clean the windows. I won't film any of that, but I'll show you the roof that I'm going to be doing and how we get on with that. Right, so I've just completed the window clean on this property. This is the view now from up on the roof. So this is what we're dealing with and what I've got to clean. So it's looking pretty grim, as you can see. Pretty green. And looking at the gutters, they are pretty blocked up, but what makes me laugh is this downpipe goes straight onto the roof, and you can see they've had to have this bit replaced because the water was going through. Why they didn't run a downpipe off of there into that gutter, I will never know. And as you can see, the water sits up here. Not a very good design at all. Anyway, I'm gonna stick you somewhere so you can see me clean this. Right, so I've sprayed all that up and I've scrubbed it all in and agitated it all. Now I'm just going to let it sit for a bit. I've actually left my tripod down by the van, so I'm going to just pop down the ladder, go and get that, come back, and then I'm going to start rinsing it off and scrubbing it and giving it a good clean. It's looking better. Still a lot of muck to get off. I've been round basically all the white bits, giving it a really good scrub. I'm just having a little bit of a break. Yeah, I think now that I've been round it with the brush I use for the fascias, I'm going to give it a bit of a go with the Xline brush, just because I know that will rinse all the bits off. The gutters are looking full of bubbles, and this is why they were getting a leak. So all this water is going in there, and I don't think it's going down the downpipe. No, it's going down the wall. So I'm just going to see if I can unblock that in a minute. So that is not good at all. Okay, so I've finished. I've decided that that's probably it. I could rinse this all day long and it would still have bits on it, but on the whole it's looking a lot better and a lot cleaner. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, you can see there the pool table net. You can actually see through it now, which is, you couldn't see through it earlier. So yeah, I'm just left with the conservatory windows to do now, and then I'm done for the day. Okay, that's the end of today's video, day in the life of a window cleaner. It's been a pretty successful day. That conservatory roof, that reminded me while I was doing that why I'm not really offering conservatory roofs this year. Just they take so long to do, and I just don't enjoy doing them. So I will do them for my regular customers, which that person obviously was. So yeah, I will continue to do that. But yeah, didn't enjoy it at all, but it came up okay, and I think they'll be quite pleased with it. Especially as it hasn't been done for a couple of years. So hope you enjoyed the video for today. Give it a thumbs up and a like. If you're enjoying my content, why not subscribe? I think yesterday I looked and 70% of the viewers are not subscribed. So if you are enjoying it, do me a favour and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. As I've said before, I normally upload a video on a Saturday morning between about 9:30 and lunchtime, and if I get a lot of videos banked up, I will release one in the week as well. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.